Welcome to Think Like a Great, where extraordinary thinking shapes the future. Today, we're diving into the real-life story of Stephen Bartlett, a man who went from being homeless at 19, dropping out of college after just one day, into becoming a multi-millionaire. Youngest CEO on the London Stock Exchange, and host of one of the world's most inspiring podcasts. This isn't about luck. It's about mindset, grit, and the power of never giving up, even when the world counts you out. If you've ever felt lost, broken, or like you don't belong, this is your reminder that your story isn't over yet. Prologue. A life you can't make up. Picture this. You're 19 years old. You've got no job, no money, and no home. You sleep on a park bench in Manchester, England. All you own is an old laptop and a dream that feels smaller every day. That was Stephen Bartlett's reality. Today, he's a multi-millionaire, a CEO, one of the youngest to ever list a company on the London Stock Exchange, host of one of the top 5 podcasts in the world, The Diary of a CEO, and a Shark Tank investor who built his empire from nothing. But before all the success, he was just another kid nobody believed in. The early years, no genius, no rich parents. Stephen wasn't born into wealth or privilege. He grew up bouncing between Gibraltar, Malta, and the UK. His parents divorced early. He didn't fit in at school. He got bullied, felt lost, thought he was broken. "I always felt like I didn't belong," he once said. "I wasn't smart enough. I didn't get it like the others did. No genius. Just a boy trying to survive." Dropped out after one day. And everyone laughed at them. 18, he enrolled in university, majored in marketing, went to class. Once, after that single lecture, he quit. Why? Because he saw the system for what? It was slow, outdated, disconnected from real life. "I realized if I stayed there, I'd waste 3 years of my life," he said. His family freaked out. Friends laughed. Teachers shook their heads. "You'll never make it," they told him, but he didn't care, because deep down, he already had a plan. Rock bottom. Homeless at 19 by 20, he was sleeping on benches, eating cheap food, surviving off internet cafes. That old laptop, his only lifeline. "I couldn't tell my family," he admitted. "I was too ashamed." He had no phone, no social media, just a flickering hope that things could get better. And still he worked. Every morning he'd find a cafe with free Wi-Fi, pitch clients online, do social media work, hustle hard. Little by little he started getting gigs, small jobs, tiny paychecks. But he kept going. Built it from nothing. Social Chain was born at 22. He co-founded Social Chain, for a digital marketing agency focused on social media content. First office? A tiny room with no heat, sometimes no electricity. They used flashlights to keep working, but they scaled fast. They landed big clients: Facebook, Amazon, Google. In 2017, Social Chain went public. Revenue hit over $100 million. At 26, Stephen A. became the youngest CEO ever listed on the London Stock Exchange. Nobody was laughing now. Ibn Rishir, The Diary of a CEO, podcasting his way to global fame. In 2019, Stephen launched his podcast, The Diary of a CEO. It wasn't flashy, no guests at first, just him talking about leadership, failure, and mental health, but people listened. Real. Talk, raw honesty, deep insights. Within months, it exploded. Now, over 1 billion downloads, top 5 globally. Millions tuning in every week. He wasn't just a CEO anymore. He was a voice for the lost, the broken, the ones still fighting. The morning habit. That changed everything. There were days when Stephen wanted to quit. Days when the pressure, crushed him. When depression whispered lies, so he did one thing every morning. He wrote down 3 things he was grateful for. Then wrote himself a kind message. even on his worst days. Sometimes it was simple. The sun was shining. Someone said hello. He made it through yesterday, and then a note to himself. You're not failing. You're still here. Keep going. That small habit saved him again and again. His message to the world: Stephen doesn't sugarcoat anything. He says, you don't need anyone to believe in you, as long as you haven't quit. No one has beaten you yet. I was seen as a failure by the world, but the world was wrong. There are like lessons from Stephen's journey. 1. Failure isn't final. Stephen failed in school, failed in relationships, failed in business, but he treated every failure as a lesson, not an end. 2. You don't need money to start. No rich parents, no trust fund, just hustle and grit. If you can think big and act bigger, you can build something from nothing. 3. Education happens. Outside the classroom, Stephen left school after one day, but he never stopped learning. Books, experience, mistakes. That's where real education happens. 4. Your mind is your most powerful tool. Your thoughts shape your life. Stephen's gratitude practice rewired his brain. It gave him peace in chaos, hope in darkness. 5. Believe in yourself. First, people will doubt you, dismiss you, criticize you. Doesn't matter. What matters is whether you believe in yourself, even when no one else does. Final thoughts. Your story isn't written. Yet Stephen Bartlett's story isn't about luck. It's about persistence, about showing up even when everything hurts, about building something out of nothing, one step, one decision, one mindset shift at a time. If you're broke right now, if you feel stuck, if you've been told you'll never make it, remember, you don't have to be born under a spotlight. You just have to take one step forward, then another, then another. Stephen did it. You can too.